I would like to invite Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi to give his remarks. He doesn't need any introduction, but still he's a member of Upper House of Indian Parliament, better known as Rajya Sabha. He's the national spokesperson of Bharatiya Janata Party. Having done his PhD in mechanical engineering, he served as faculty in mechanical engineering department in a couple of Indian universities. He's an ardent speaker on the issues of India's national policy, polity, and society. Dr. Trivedi, we are honored to have you with us today. The floor is all yours.
Namaskar, Madam Apurva Srivastava ji, Dr. Manoj Nisari ji, Honorable Michael Tibondo ji, Dr. Baghel, and Dr. Harish Verma. We all are here to discuss about how to put forth this ancient and a very appropriate, useful scientific method of healing, Ayurveda, in Canada, and that too also in the global prospects. I would just like to put 2-3 points. Whenever we talk about Ayurveda, we should try to understand how it is different from the rest of the prevailing medical curative process or curative medical branch of knowledges. In the most prevailing and dominant allopathic system of medicine, if it is asked how you can say that the person is healthy, the answer is if he or she is having no disease, then the person is healthy. What is your modus operandi? If there is disease, we will cure it. So somehow these type of medical sciences become the science of disease. On the contrary, Ayurveda by name itself is a science of life, science of living being. That's why it is one of the very rare branches of medical science, which is not only just having curative medicine, but also preventive medicines. These days when the COVID pandemic is affected the entire world, rather than I can say in the documented history of mankind, this is the most vast challenge which the human race is facing. The biggest counter to this is your immunity. And in the modern medicine system, to enhancing the general immunity, there is no significant medicines are available. On the contrary, Ayurveda is having a lot of medicines in which it is said for 3-4 months in a year you take and it will be better for you for rest of the years. But there is no such medicines available in the other system. So this is slightly different, that it also gives cure and also gives prevention. And one more thing, it is also a peculiar medical science which emerges from where? By name itself, Ayurveda is a part of Vedas. And Vedas are considered the religious texts. With due respect to all the great civilizations, cultures and religions of the world, I can say with firm conviction that you could hardly find anywhere in the world when the medical science is a part of the religious texts. It is a part of Vedas. Even the mathematics, you have heard about the Vedic mathematics. The mathematics is a part of religious texts. So that also gives a message that in our culture, there was no conflict between the science and religion. Rather than both were going hand in hand. And one more thing, which Ayurveda gives an example. What happens in the modern prevailing medicines, we deal with a disease which affects one part or one organ of the body. And we focus on that. We try to eliminate that disease, caring very less about the rest of the body. So the approach of the modern medicine is more compartmental than the integral. On the contrary, the Ayurveda deals with the entire human body, not only just body, but also our mental faculties, our conscious faculties together. So it is having an integral approach, not just a compartmental approach. Even if somebody goes by science, our life initiates with one cell that ultimately culminates into trillions of cells. in our body, whether the human or the bacteria or germs or others, and all have initiated from one cell. So it means there is an integral factor, not the compartmental factor as it has been envisaged in the modern time. So this also gives a basic fundamental paradigm shift in the thinking process. But unfortunately, even after independence, we were not having that much confidence in our system. As Apurvaji was saying, that if there are certain institutes and we can scientifically, clinically prove those things and then establish in Canada, I would like to say that it can be done at a global level. If AIMS was established in 50s, it was good. It was a good effort for the new India, which has just got independent at the time. But if we would have established similar institute for Ayurveda and established a fundamental research in Ayurveda, I think by this time, by 60, 70 years, we should be having hundreds of patents, and that intellectual property has not only increased our wealth and property, but also increased our prestige and enhanced our reputation in the entire world. Now, for the first time, the government has decided that Ayurveda will have a proper research with CSIR. So for the first time, after this COVID pandemic, our government, under the guidance of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, has decided to have a CSIR collaborated research so that most of the things can be clinically established. One thing I will say, these are scientific, but it has to be defined in the contemporary scientific context. And you have also seen that during this COVID episode, for the first time, Ayush Ministry has officially said, they have said that Chyawanprash and some homeopathic medicines like arsenic album can be taken. Prior to that, none of the government was having courage to officially acknowledge the wisdom of Ayurveda and other alternative medicines. And I would also like to say that when the point comes to Ayurveda, it is said that this is good for medicines, but this is not good for that much good for surgery. Unfortunately, we have missed the bus. So Shush Samhita is having such an elaborate description of surgery with 180 chapters, with around 1100 disease, with 121 surgical instruments, with 650 medicines from plant, animal, and metal sources. So we can also have a proper established base of knowledge. One thing I would like to remind, since my childhood, I have seen that in Ayurveda it is said that whenever a disease has erupted in any part of the world, on any part of earth, its remedy has to be in the same area or nearby area in any of the plant. But the Vaidya should have an insight and capability to find out and identify that remedy. Some of the people say these type of foolish things, how this can be accepted, that if there is a disease has erupted in any, say, for example, in Canada, then the remedy has to be somewhere in the nearby area in a plant. For them, I would like to tell them, just 60 years back, if somebody would have said that a factory is working in Delhi and that's why the ice is melting in Canada, what should have been said? How foolish you are, how illogical you are, how can thermal waves travel across the globe? Yes, today it is proven by greenhouse effect that the earth is a single ecological unit. So we were one step ahead, that we were also, earth was also a single cosmic unit. Exactly, in medical science, if you see, if there is one infection erupts in your body on any part, say on finger, so what happens? Your body activates and the entire antibodies of your body gets concentrated on that particular point. So where there is an infection, antibodies are nearby. In the same manner, it was said that if there is a disease in earth, the antibody has to be nearby in the nature. But unfortunately, what happened? We forgot nature because of the compartmental attitude. Because Ayurveda said, Mata Bhumi Putro Ham Prithivya. This earth is my mother and I am like its son. On the contrary, the West originates You remember the book of Aristotle by the name Nature. What does it say? The man should become the possessors and masters of nature. Man should be able to subdue nature. All the elements of nature are the service of the mankind. From Rene Descartes to Francis Bacon, you will find this. So that's also created a lot of problem. So what I want to say, finally, that Ayurveda provides you such a thought process, such a strong medicinal aspect and medicinal remedy that just leave about 2-3% case of severe surgery, for which also our established knowledge is there, which has been forgotten. Not only this, but also an integral, coherent relation with the nature, an integral, coherent relation with the entire earth. So I would like to finally say that Ayurveda, by name itself, is a part of Vedas, is one of the gem of our ancient Indian culture. Prime Minister has established yoga on the international platform. Now it is time to set up in the coming decade as Ayurveda an established way of life, because it represents the way of life, the Hindu way of life, for which there are so many hesitations in talking about that. So finally, I would say one line of late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee's very famous poem. It was Hindu Tanman Hindu Jeevan, Rag Rag Hindu Mera Parichay. The one stanza was, मैं अखिल विश्व का गुरु महान, देता विद्या का अमरदान, मैंने दिखलाया मुक्ति मार्ग, मैंने सिखलाया ब्रह्म ज्ञान, मेरे वेदों की का ज्ञान अमर, मेरे वेदों की ज्योति प्रखर, मानव के मन का अंधकार क्या कभी सामने सखा ठहर, मेरे स्वर नभ में गहर गहर, सागर के जल में छैर छैर, इस कोने से उस कोने तक कर सकते जगती सौरभमय, हिंदू तनमन हिंदू जीवन, रग रग हिंदू मेरा परिचय. It means our eternal source of wisdom. Vedas are having such an enlightened knowledge, whether material or spiritual. You are sitting on one part of globe, that is Canada. I am sitting on the eastern part of the globe, but having the capability to create a coherence, wellness, and a new life. That's why India never wanted to become the superpower. We always want to become Jagat Guru, because power dominates and Guru motivates. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so very much, Sudhanshu ji, for your very, very insightful and inspiring words. We really appreciate for you taking time out to join us this morning.